All right, and we are live here on the channel. Welcome to Flow Frame here with James. I'm Tyler. We are going to be talking about all things prediction markets. Um, so we'll be covering all kinds of different markets that we're personally trading, that we're looking at, that we find interesting, that are maybe relevant to kind of everything going on in the world. So just a little background, I'm the founder of flowframe.xyz, which is prediction market website. James and myself, we write content for it. It's got all kinds of prediction market tools, live odds, all kinds of stuff on there. So check that out. I'll put a link in the comments to that. We are also contributors to the Prediction Labs Discord. So we hang out in there about every day, kind of adding some market commentary, posting some trades, and interacting with people. So check that out too. I'll put a link to that in the comments. So that's predictionlabs.app is the website. So a lot of fun in there. So I think we'll probably just dive right in here. James, if you want to start us off with some markets that you're looking at and anything interesting that you're seeing.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, so right now I'm looking at a lot of the Iran cluster markets. There's a bunch popping up every day. And I like to look at these markets and really try to find like a directional narrative in there, try to figure out what markets are asking similar questions or hinge on similar catalysts and events. So the ones I want to talk about today are the two Iran markets. Will the U.S. recognize Reza, the son of the former Shah, and the other market is the U.S. Will there be a U.S.-Iran nuclear deal? So it seems like they're asking two different questions, but they kind of are essentially asking the same question: is whether the Islamic Republic of Iran survives the war it is currently in with the U.S. and Israel. The nuclear deal market needs the regime to survive. You need a functioning Iranian government that has authority to sit at the table and sign something. That means Mojtaba Khamenei, the new supreme leader, has to consolidate power and reverse his current position of refusing all negotiations, and then somehow reach a formal agreement with the country that did just assassinate his father. That contract currently is priced at 38%, but the fair market seems a lot closer to about 2%. And then the Pahlavi recognition needs the exact opposite to happen. It essentially needs the regime to collapse. You need the Islamic Republic to fall, Pahlavi to emerge as the credible claimant over every other faction in or outside of Iran, Trump to make the political decision to formally recognize him, and that recognition needs to take the specific form. That contract is at 23% currently, but the fair value of it closer to about 10%. What most people are trading these markets are missing is that if you're buying yes on both, you're essentially betting against yourself. One needs the regime to live, and the other needs it to die. The only world where both pay off is if the regime collapses, Pahlavi takes over, and then his new government somehow signs a nuclear deal with the U.S. all before January. The most likely outcome for 2026 is neither of those things happen. The war grinds on. Mojtaba holds some diminished form of power in Iran. No nuclear deal gets signed, and Pahlavi stays in exile. That's the 60 to 70% outlook, and currently both of these markets are overpriced relative to that reality. Currently, the best play is a directional position. It's buying no on both. The nuclear deal is higher conviction trade, with Pahlavi recognition as a secondary since it has thinner edge currently, and greater exposure to a general regime collapse. Just kind of looking at this week and
So is there like any precedent to the U.S. just historically, I guess, like attacking a Middle Eastern country and then like recognizing the new leader? Like, how does that normally go? Like, with other, Iraq or Afghanistan or anything like that? Did anything like this happen, or is this totally different?
Yeah, I mean, historically, the U.S. a lot of Middle Eastern countries
Yeah.
in this regime change aspect. I mean, it's usually drawn out, and it is usually with some influence of the U.S. Like if the U.S. goes into any country, I mean, starting from World War II on up, they usually have a pretty big hand to play in the transition of power. I can't actually think of an example where
Okay.
the U.S. is
But they,
attacked and then been not part of it.
gotcha. So they kind of like to handpick the leader a little bit, or at least
Yeah.
someone that's going to be more friendly
Yes, that
to
is
them.
the
Yeah.
U.S. MO
Okay.
for sure.
And is this Pavlovi? Do you know like his? I guess his stance on. I mean, is he similar to his father, or
I, yeah, I mean, he's been in exile since the 70s.
Oh,
His father was the Shah who was put into power by the
okay,
U.S. in the British when the former government nationalized the oil industry, and so the U.S. and British Petroleum ousted that government and put in the Shah, Pahlavi's father. And it seems like he's similar to his father, probably a little more updated, but
okay,
and his stance is, at least he frames his stance as very like anti the Ayatollah, anti the Islamic Republic, and that's how he
gotcha.
kind of consolidates some influence of the Iranian diaspora, and I think he's in a lot of other adjacent countries.
Gotcha. So for either of these, is there like a certain event or thing that like you would be looking for to that would maybe change your thesis, or if you're right, like you would take profits at this point, or any big event coming up that you would look for?
Yeah, I mean, I right now I'm looking for how the other countries, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon now, are dealing in either directly attacked by Iran, or dealing with like Israel as like the proxy for the U.S. in the area. It escalate, and it seems like the war is it's getting more intense operations right now. If things continue to escalate, and there is eventually boots on the ground from either the U.S. or Israel, I would look to that, because I think that'll have a pretty firm plan of getting to Tehran and completely overthrowing the government, and I think that's the first thing that would have to happen for most of it.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Hmm.
Um, so last question on Iran. I guess I'm kind of grilling you here, but where do you think oil prices are going?
Up.
Up? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see, what is that like right now? Let's see. Yeah, up today for sure. 95-ish
Mm-hmm.
dollars a barrel. So 150 is realistic, you think, or not quite?
Maybe, I hope not. That would be a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like
that would be.
the oil is interesting because it's really highlighting China's position in such an interesting way, because they buy sanctioned oil no problem, and they're
Mm.
funding a ton of their tech sector is now getting a boost, and it's really showing that rift, and that'd be some interesting markets to explore that would hinge on anything like that.
So this isn't hurting China at all, you're saying?
No, I think it's helping them. It's kind of exposing a lot of Western positions with it.
Mm. Interesting. So I wonder. Yeah, um, that's an interesting point, because I'm sure there's a market here. I don't know if Kalshi has it, but let's see. I'm gonna look on Polymarket. Do you see any implications for like China invading Taiwan? Like if they're feeling like in a strong position and the U.S. is in a weak position, I'm just gonna look at what those odds are doing,
And
just out of curiosity.
no, I actually think it might work against China invading Taiwan because
Okay.
I think the U.S. is gonna, with the fleet already kind of amassing in the Eastern Hemisphere, I would think they start rolling even more ships through the strait there between China and Taiwan, because I mean Taiwan is where the microprocessors come from a lot of the time, and if they're
Okay.
gonna lose that, they're losing the that ground battle on like oil prices, energy for like AI infrastructure. I bet they up their protection over that trade setup with Taiwan and the
Oh,
microprocessor.
gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, it seems like a lot of different connected markets and yeah, kind of knock-on effects
Mm-hmm.
to all
Oh
this
yeah.
with energy and everything. Yeah, seems
Mm.
like seems like the U.S. is in kind of a tough position here.
Yeah. They've got a lot of directions to look at.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So maybe on a little bit different note here. So mentioned markets are also becoming very popular in prediction markets. So that's where you can basically bet on what someone is going to say or not say in a press conference or a speech, things like that. So that's something that we've been diving into a lot, and we'll probably be doing some live streams during some of the bigger events, kind of reacting to the event live, kind of sharing some of our ideas and picks here. So I'm gonna just pull up one that's happening tomorrow. It's JD Vance is giving some remarks in North Carolina. Let's see if I can find it here. So it seems like kind of how the administration is going about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, James. But it seems like Trump kind of is going around giving kind of big type rallies and speeches on kind of some big wins and stuff, and then they kind of deployed JD Vance. It seems like to some of these like smaller, like middle class, towns to kind of give that working class message. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so they did that. He did an event in Wisconsin last month in a manufacturing facility, and then here he is again in North Carolina. Um, Another like I think just very like blue collar, middle class manufacturing area, and that's kind of been his kind of big message, I think, throughout kind of their campaign, and then now that he's in office, is trying to relate to the middle class and bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. and onshoring some of that, and so that's I guess that's kind of the framework, I think, where he's going to probably be giving another message along those lines. So the idea here is try to find some words, some topics that he's probably going to talk about that might be undervalued or overvalued. Um, so you see words in here like like the tax on tips, tax on overtime. You hear
Mm-hmm.
Vance and Trump talk about that all the time. Manufacturing here. Um, and then you got, a lot of the Iran related words. So kind of speculate on it. How much of that is he going to touch on, or is he going to focus more on kind of the scripted message for that area. It's definitely, I think, I don't know if it's easier to kind of project JD Vance than Trump, because Trump kind of goes off on all kinds of tangents and you never know where he's going to go.
I like when he
Where
tells
Vance,
you he's off teleprompter. He
yeah,
announces it.
yeah, yeah. Shut off the teleprompter.
Yeah.
Where Vance will be way more like, on topic. Yeah. So this is it's a Rocky Mount Mills is where the event is at. It's a historic textile facility. It's a manufacturing heavy town. So the North Carolina GOP promoted the event. It likely covering affordability, economy, very similar to his Wisconsin visit last month. So, if I'm looking at some of these words, the things that I would be, looking at would be, yeah, things like middle class. That's Let's see. I might have to scroll.
Yeah, where is that? It's
Right there, 42%. Yeah, that I don't know, that to me seems undervalued, because it feels like that is going to be one of kind of the main messages, is not forgetting about the middle class. I think he's talked a lot about how, like, the Democrats or previous administrations have kind of sold the idea that over the past decades that kind of sending all of the manufacturing and stuff offshore would benefit the middle class. I think his argument has been it's done the opposite. It's hurt the middle class, so they're really trying to bring manufacturing back. So manufacturing then is at let's see, 67%. Yeah, I think that one's interesting too, because he definitely did say that word at the Wisconsin event, and it's a very similar, I think, setting and message here as well. So middle class manufacturing, I'm kind of chalky there, but it's hard to imagine him straying too far from this. And then the other one that kind of stood out to me was, I guess maybe two more, was tariff. So, I believe there's a pretty large China-owned, like, I think, tire manufacturer there that that might be a topic where tariffs get brought up. I'm still kind of digging into that a little bit more.
No,
And
totally,
then,
because
yeah,
tariff hooks right in with like manufacturing and middle class. Vance is
yeah,
the tariff salesperson of the administration. Like that's who they send out to the work and to establish that message for
okay.
sure.
So you're kind of liking tariff than Sue at this
Oh yeah,
price. Yeah,
yeah. Tariff what?
it's. I think I saw it's not, but I think it last. I think it
Yeah.
was 40. Was it 42?
Oh yeah. I think that's pretty undervalued there.
Pretty undervalued. Yeah, yeah. So, and then made in America too. Again, kind of staying with the manufacturing theme. 57%. Yeah, it feels like something he would say, over half the time, I guess, in speeches like this, I guess. So maybe a little bit of value there. I think one that I want to get. What are your thoughts on AI for this type of setting for him?
I think he lays off of it.
Yeah,
I think it's just not the factory or a mill in the heartland. He hits on that too hard, or at all, or anything adjacent.
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because if anything, it almost would come off as a negative, because that's kind of a big topic is AI and automating jobs, and that's probably not a great message for middle class manufacturing town who are probably worried about robots taking their jobs. Unless he tries to spin it as like something not to worry about or something. I don't know, but that it's kind of expensive on the no there, but
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to see a scenario where he spins that kind of super positively in this setting. So what do you think? Do you think he's going to touch on Iran much, like as much as Trump does in all of his speeches?
I think he does the greatest hits really quick. I think I don't think the administration's getting out of having to do like a quick, like little bit of a
Yeah,
sell on a very unpopular conflict currently. So that's why
yeah,
I like Israel. I thought earlier
Israel.
was underpriced. I'm not sure where it's at now. Let me see.
Yeah, I think I saw. Yeah, Israel.
Yeah, that's probably pretty appropriately priced, I would think. Israel, but maybe a little underpriced still. And security, I think Vance likes to put a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
different issues. I mean, it's
yeah,
tariffs and Iran, like both lead to national security talking point.
yeah. I can kind of like I can even like picture him like saying it, like just when I like imagine him. I feel like it's probably something he's has talked about or said a lot, if I can like picture it in my mind, him saying
Sure.
it. So that could be a good one too. I think I like the is Israel one and those kind of like Iran adjacent ones than just like Iran, because usually you can get them at a better price and they're very connected. Um, so like if he's talking about Iran, like you said, probably leads to Israel, which is priced cheaper
Mhm.
than
Justification, and then to the package, the wrapping of national
yeah.
security, like that's pretty easy to see that logical flow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, like, there's a lot of words in here that it's like, yeah, you can see him like talking about tax on tips, but it's like the key is kind of finding ones that are mispriced and um,
The whole game is, I mean, you can buy
yep,
Biden for what 90 cents, but
yeah,
unless you're gonna do a huge volume and then get out or something, it's probably not
yeah, yeah. Like over the long
worth
run,
it.
if you're gonna trade in these markets over the long run, um, it's hard to imagine being like super profitable, betting a lot on those really expensive ones, because it just takes one missing um
Yeah,
to
your whole
you
position
know
collapses. Yeah,
yeah. So if you can find some undervalued ones in like the 40 to 60, maybe 70 range, that has proven to be the best strategy for me anyways. um
yeah, those right, kind of in that middle adjacent, and trying to figure out
yeah,
which ones. Maybe just the market just hasn't caught up to its like otherwise kind of obvious positioning on it. It's like
yeah,
either that market just pops up, or somebody sells who was holding a lot or something, and it gets the right value for enough time
yeah.
to egg it.
um One other one here that I would love your thoughts on is I don't know if it is fraud in here. Oh yeah, fraud. So Trump like named Vance as like the fraud guy. Was that in the State of the Union or
Yeah.
some event? He like appointed Vance as kind of the
Recently.
leader of that initiative. So
Okay.
um, what kind of context could that come up here? I guess just um, saying how they're trying to root out fraud and waste and things like
Yeah,
that, or
and well, I mean, not they're not selling the
yeah,
Doge thing anymore. So the only way I can see getting, if they bring up like Walls and Minnesota and the care fraud they're claiming and investigating, they
yeah,
like that because you get the Minneapolis sanctuary city angle, which would
Right.
would I assume would play very well at this event in this setting.
Right.
So that might be a good way how he gets there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I like that too. Yeah. So there's lots of opportunities, and like these markets are pretty illiquid, and they move around a lot, and so there's definitely some edge and some opportunity that you can find. Obviously, risks go along with that too, but so mentioned markets is something we're gonna, I think, dive into pretty frequently. And we post our picks and our plays for mentioned markets in the Prediction Labs Discord. So um, this is tomorrow. This event is tomorrow, Friday the 13th. So head to the Prediction Labs Discord, and we'll have our plays for this event, our official plays for this event in there. Yeah, I think we covered a good amount here. James, is there anything else? Any other thoughts on this market or Iran or anything else?
No, I think these mentioned markets are definitely the spot to kind of look towards for a lot of cool opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Because you can there's a lot of data out there for these. You can look back on transcripts and trends of what they like to say, and like kind of the administration's platforms and things they're trying to push. So you can find an edge, and it's every day. So there's markets popping up, not just for politicians, but for you know like game shows and Survivor and
Award
sporting
shows.
events. Yeah, and then there's
Yep.
like interviews on MSNBC and like other news broadcasts that now all of a sudden were kind of boring to watch before and now kind of interesting.
Right. Put some skin
If
in
you
the
can,
game.
yeah, get some skin in the game. If you can really like get used to like a certain person, like whether that's Vance or Trump, or like what like James Tallarico, like from Texas, is doing an interview on um some broadcast, I think maybe tonight or later today or something. But if you can really dial in on somebody and kind of get um find their habits and crutches and stuff, I think you can really find some opportunities. But there's going to be, yeah, as we get to the midterms and stuff too, there's going to be probably a lot more pretty crazy with on the mentioned market side. So
Oh yeah.
now's probably the time to prepare and get a process down for that, because that's going to be fun.
Hmm.
All
Yeah, a
right.
lot of live streams for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we'll do it, as our schedules allow. Hopefully, maybe a couple of weeks, but we'll see. Stay tuned for more of a schedule on that, I guess. So yeah, check out flowframe.xyz, check out Prediction Labs Discord, check out Prediction Labs Twitter account or X account, Flowframe's X account, to stay up on all things prediction markets. So sounds good. Yeah, thanks for joining me here, James. That was fun.
Yeah, man. Thank
Sounds
you.
good. See ya.